Hello everybody, welcome to our Power Talk for Your Peak Potential, coming at you live every Monday night at 8 o'clock here. Today I have our wonderful Christmas tree in our background again. I'm wearing a nice Christmas flannel and we're really just getting in the season here, and it's just me tonight because Sam is back home for a family funeral, family friend funeral, sorry about that. And so tonight I have something really great to talk about, and it's kind of piggybacking on my last week's topic and what I was more so talking about at the end, the last half of our Power Talk last week. So if you kind of want to go watch that, then you could do that too, or else I'll have a nice recap right now. So at the end of last time, we were talking about how sometimes when people get a diagnosis, then they kind of take that on and they consume that and they become that, versus I'm a person with, they are, I am this person that has the, you know what I mean? They don't really, it doesn't really become separate, and that's really where the issue lies. That's when healing is hard to do. And then my aspect on that, working with kids, especially kids that have been labeled with a diagnosis either with autism or ADHD or sensory processing disorder. Yes, Marla says, nice flannel. I wonder if that's Sam, because this is his flannel. So hopefully you mean that. So what I was saying about that is that, and what I said, and was that, the diagnosis, the doctor that gives that child the diagnosis, and then, but it's just kind of like, okay, you have this, but I'm not really, like, then it's like the parent is kind of left stuck, like, well, what do I do with that? Like, what do I actually do to help my child move past this, actually just flourish and be the amazing kid that I know that they can be? And I said, that a diagnosis can sometimes, like, it's not really helpful because you don't really get a solution with that and you don't really get action steps to do. But I do kind of want to, I didn't have anybody ask me about it, but I just thought about it after. And I was like, I kind of want to just rephrase that, because the thing is that a diagnosis does, especially for a child, it does have, it is needed in some instances, especially when that child then gets other services at school. And a lot of times that child doesn't get those special services that they really need if they don't have that diagnosis in the first place. So that's then why the parent then does need that diagnosis. And working with Kayla and my dad and all of these amazing teachers in my life, I know that to be true. So that is a reason why sometimes that child does need that diagnosis. But again, that doesn't really then provide an answer or a solution for that child to then, be their amazing selves and interact with their family and their friends and have fun at school and do birthday parties and do all of these fun sports activities and all of these things. So that's then when parents, they find out about me at Peak Potential Family Chiropractic, either through a referral, or they've seen something that I've written, either in the South Like Neighbors magazine or else in the Yoga magazine, or they find us on Facebook or the website, or either way, a lot of people find us all through different ways, which is great. But they come and they're like, okay, so my child, was diagnosed with this, but yet they're still struggling. And I'm looking for resources and things to actually help my kid, because, they're struggling at school and they're having trouble focusing and they're not sleeping and they just seem really anxious. And I know, well, I don't know, but I can imagine that as a parent, watching your child struggle is probably the hardest thing that you could ever imagine. I can say that is probably the hardest thing that as a parent that you can go through. And I really do, empathize with that. And then so what I do is I say, okay, so your child has been, diagnosed with A, B, C, or D, or a combination of the two, because a lot of times it's like, it's not just one issue, right? It's like your child is dealing with a lot of different things, and it seems like when one thing gets better, then another thing kind of increases. But I'm like, okay, so this is what it is. So let's actually figure out, let's take a step back and let's figure out what's actually causing that. And how I do that is I look at their nervous system. Yes, that is my main consistent theme through all of these videos, through everything that I talk about, through all the conversations I have out in the community, all the conversations I have with parents in my office is about their nervous system, which is their brain and their spinal cord. And the reason why is because that really is the thing that is in control of every single function that you do. So me talking right now, and my heart beating, and my lungs breathing, and my food digesting, all of that. But then another layer of it is also a social and emotional component to it. So interacting at school, interacting with their friends, being able to just go into a mall, especially these times, you know, at Christmas time, being able to go into a mall and not completely shut down or completely freak out because they are so overwhelmed by all the stimuli that's coming into their nervous system. And so what I do is I test their nervous system, and I see where on the spectrum, because, you know, health is always a spectrum. People aren't either like boom or boom. It's not like A or B. It's always a spectrum. We're always on a spectrum of health here, and always on a spectrum of dis-ease. And so I say, okay, where on the spectrum does your child lie? Is it, you know, calm and clear and connected, or is it chaotic and stressed out and disorganized? And I literally have tests and technology that show me that. And I don't need to draw any blood. I don't need to do anything that's invasive or harmful to them. They don't need to lie in an MRI tube. It's amazing, actually. It's so amazing, the technology and the resources that we have that can actually look and see how their brain is talking to their body and how their body is talking back up to their brain. And again, I'm looking for the pattern. I'm looking at the overall pattern of their whole body. And again, to see if it's smooth and calm or if it's more chaotic and stressed out. Because just like with a river, the stream that is the strongest will become that river. So same thing with your nervous system. If all the little streams, if all the little nerves in your body, if the majority of them are stressed out and chaotic and not flowing the way that they should, then that river, or AKA the whole body, the whole nervous system, how you are perceiving your environment and then reacting to it, will be stressed out and chaotic and disorganized. But on the other hand, if all the streams and all the nerves and the communication between your brain and your body, and then your body and all the other things that it's doing, if those are nice and calm and clear and connected, you know, just picture a river in your head right now. You know, you can see the ones that's like rapids, and you're like, okay, I'm not really trying to row my canoe down there. Or maybe you are if you're trying to go like whitewater rafting. But if you're just trying to have like a nice easy stroll and you're not even wanting to really paddle, you're just wanting it to kind of drift you along, just enjoy a nice like summer day out on the river, then you don't want it to be that crazy chaotic pattern, because then just think about it. Your body is going to be stressed out, right? So same thing with your nervous system. This analogy just works perfectly to really think about what's going on inside your child's body. So I have my test that shows me that. And then I do, you know, another part of the assessment, again, because I'm looking at the whole person and the whole child and really putting together all the pieces of the puzzle to really come down to what's actually, you know, going on with your child. And then what I do, my solution to actually, because you're like, okay, great, you know, obviously I want my child to have the calm and clear and connected peaceful streams, so I can have a calm and clear and connected peaceful river within my child. But how do you do that? Like what do you do that makes that happen? And And what I do that makes that happen is I do very gentle and neurological adjustments to your child's spine and nervous system to allow the communication between your child's brain and their body to work the way that it should and the way that they are really capable of doing that. And again, when that happens, when the communication between the brain and the body starts to flow smoothly, then when we do our progress exams, that's exactly what I see on my tests. Is I literally have a test that shows me like these lines that are either they should look like that and a lot of times when they come in initially they look like that, and then we get to watch them change between this and this. So a crazy stream and a crazy river to a calm stream and a calm river. And then the side effects of that, the awesome side effects, are that then your child sleeps throughout the night, which is so important for their brain, especially because that's when their brain is making all the connections. Yeah, we tend to think, oh, go to school for 12 hours a day or however long they're there because they're going to learn so much during the day. But really, their brain makes all those connections and actually learns and changes, and they get smarter when they're sleeping. So they get to sleep, so they actually get to integrate, and all that learning actually sticks in their body instead of them, again, because when their river inside their body, when their nervous system is crazy and disconnected, all the stuff that they're learning at school, it actually becomes, it's too much for them. It actually becomes a trigger for their body to go further into a stress state instead of them actually taking that bit of information and saying, okay, I got that. Time to move on. Time to like move up a level in math. It's like the simplest thing then becomes overwhelming, and they can't actually learn that or move on because their body is saying, nope, I can't handle that. Because again, their brain is not talking to their body the way that they should. So really any sort of stimulation becomes like that. And that's why then, you know, loud noises are too much, or if their class size is, you know, big, or really any other like people in their environment become a trigger and become too much for them because their inside of their body is already so chaotic. Yeah, I explain it like the inside of your body, the inside of your child's body right now is playing Metallica, and it's like screaming, you know, like heavy metal music, and we want to be playing nice classical music. Right now in the office, we're listening to Christmas Lori Line, and it's beautiful. Yeah, that's what we want the inside of your child's body to be playing all the time. So then when they go to school, that all the information that the teachers are giving them can sit in their brain and process and integrate. And then when they go home and they actually can sleep, because that's what their body is supposed to do, then their brain says, oh, okay, that's great. All right, now I'm ready to wake up and go learn more, instead of, oh, I don't know what just happened and I'm so stressed out and I can't sleep. Yeah? So that's a huge red flag if that your child's brain and body are disconnected, is if they're not sleeping. That's a huge red flag, and please reach out to us if that's your child, because something is definitely off in their body then. And another awesome side effect of having, again, that clear stream in their body and that clear nervous system is a lot of times parents tell me, you know, their anxiety goes down, which is amazing. Yeah, because kids are not supposed to be super stressed out and have a lot of anxiety. They're supposed to be excited to go to school because they want to learn and they like to play with their friends, and they have all these birthday parties and these sports activities. Yeah, they're like, just like, they're supposed to just be happy-go-lucky kids, not stressed out, and especially not stressed out about being around other people. So that's another red flag that your child should come and be assessed and see if the inside of their body is chaotic, is if they have a lot of anxiety, more than what you know to be normal. And that's what parents usually tell me. They're like, okay, I get it if they have a stressful day, but I know deep down that something is off because my child is anxious all the time. And then another awesome side effect is that then they can interact with their friends and their teachers and their parents and their siblings, and they just can have wonderful social interactions, which we know is such a huge and crucial part of brain development, not let alone just, living in society and actually being a successful human being, but actually for your brain development, they need that social connection. So that's amazing. When a parent tells me that, yeah, my kid is not getting stressed out about school because they are actually happy and they like to go there and hang out with their friends. Like, yay, that's how it should be. And then another amazing side effect is the emotional regulation. Yeah. And we get it, if kids are having a stressful day at school, if they're stressed out about a test or something like that, then yeah, maybe they might be a little bit on edge. But again, that should not be their consistent pattern. And again, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for like the overall thing, not just like a one day, but like if this is like a thing that's happening like over and over and over again, when they're like, okay, something is off. Like the very little thing is making my child explode or shut down. That's the thing, is that sometimes kids react differently. Is that when they get stressed out, sometimes kids will, completely freak out, and it's like, okay, whoa, we need to reel it in a little bit, or else they completely shut down, they get really quiet, they get really withdrawn and really reserved, and the parents are like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, talk to me, please, like I just want to help you. But again, it's a defense mechanism. They're either freaking out because they're, again, they're in fight or flight and they're fighting, or they're retreating and they're going just totally inward and withdrawing, and they're hiding, and they're flighting. They're running away. So that's another huge sign that their nervous system is in a state of chaos and stress, is if a thing that shouldn't, necessarily upset them too much. A lot of times in like the, when kids are in the process of getting a diagnosis, it's a lot of times like emotional dysregulation. There's a whole spectrum of that, right? But again, it's like, okay, they should be able to, internally regulate that and calm themselves down from the inside out. And it shouldn't be an explosion, or they shouldn't completely shut down. So again, what the adjustments do is they help the brain actually connect with the body, and the body then back and connect with the brain and send calm signals between the two. And so it's not a chaotic, crazy signal that's coming to them. It's very calm, and it's very gentle, and it's very centering for that child. And then they get off, they're done with their adjustment. I'm like, how do you feel? And they're like, good. A lot of times, like, they're almost asleep on the table, and it's amazing because then the parents are like, wow, like you're so calm. And it's like, exactly, because we're calming their nervous system down, and now they are ready to interact with the world, and they're ready to learn at school, and they're ready to be their amazing selves that we all know that they're capable of. So that's really my message for today. That's my message for tomorrow. That will be my message next week. Is, again, I understand that sometimes that diagnosis is needed, especially if that child is then needing extra help at school. I totally get that. And I'm not trying to say like, don't get that diagnosis. Like if you need that, and if you want to do that, then totally do that. But then know that there are other solutions to actually then helping your child get past that diagnosis, because you don't want that diagnosis to then have to stick with them for the rest of their life if it doesn't have to, right? It's like, get those services, you know, when you need them. But if you don't, and if your child can just thrive naturally and just be their amazing selves from the inside out, then let's do that. Yeah, then that is really my hope for all of you guys and all of the parents out there in our community, is that they can just watch their kids just thrive and have fun and just, you know, be awesome little humans. Because here's the thing, those little humans, these kids that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, now I'm just counting, but they turn into 25-year-olds. They turn into 30-year-olds. They, you know, they have families of their own. They get jobs of their own. And the thing is that again, when the issue is happening when they're young, sometimes again, parents are like, oh, are they just gonna grow out of this? And it's like, sometime, like maybe, but the thing is, it's like, again, if their nervous system is so ingrained in that pattern, the whole like they'll grow out of this doesn't really happen like that. It just doesn't, because your nervous system is just ingrained like that. You know, that's like saying like, am I gonna grow out of being right-handed? Probably not, because my nervous system is ingrained like that. Not if I don't try really, really hard to write with my left hand and try really, really hard to get a new pattern into my nervous system. So again, when they're kids, that's when it's an amazing, amazing time to actually come in and get their nervous system checked and on that right path. So then when they're adults, they're not trying extra, extra, extra hard to find a solution to help them. And they're like, oh, I've been struggling with this for my whole life. This is just how I am. It's like, no, let's help your child change now, so then they can be on this right path of just awesomeness. And that's how they can, you know, live their life, and they can be successful, and they can have awesome relationships and be awesome parents themselves and have awesome jobs because they're super smart, because they're able to learn in school and go to sleep at night and wake up the next day and do it all over again. Yeah? Those patterns really do start when they're a kid. So, thank you so much for watching. That hand analogy was major key. Good, thank you. That just came from me, so great, thanks. Please reach out if you have any questions, or if you're watching this and you're like, wow, that sounds exactly like my kid. I'm pretty sure they are disorganized inside, and I'm wondering if that's what's causing them to be disorganized on the outside and have, you know, emotional dysregulation and not being able to focus or sleep or have anxiety. And it really is my mission to help your child and to help them naturally and to thrive. So please reach out. I'd love to speak with you and explain it further, or answer any questions that you have, or have you come to our office and meet us, and all sorts of great things. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful week as we head into Christmas, and we will see you soon. All right, goodbye, guys.